I don't know if we've got any more questions coming on, Evelyn, before we start to wind down the programme.
Just having a look, I think it's sort of starting to wind down a little bit now. One comment that I did have was a question I was going to ask actually, but I think the question has actually been answered for me. Schnaps, who is Mike Holden, and I know Mike very well. I don't know if he's still listening, but I did see a couple of comments that he thought the show, get my teeth back in. I've not been drinking, listeners, honestly. Was getting a bit boring at one point, and I'd just like to add really that you know, Mel and myself, we're not professionals by any means at this, and you know, we do it for the love of the sport and really just to try and promote the game of Crown Green Bowls. And if it has been a bit boring, then I apologise, but perhaps some of the people out there would perhaps want to give it a go at some point. But that's just a comment from me. I don't know if you want to add anything.
Were we supposed to have a fight or something?
Can't satisfy everybody.
Yeah. No, I think just as Lynn said, I mean, the internet is a marvellous tool, and I think it's something that the sport has encompassed by these radio shows. They help promote the game. We do the best as we possibly can. The website have come on, the forums in the last few years are tremendous, and the sport has got to use these to the best of the ability. It was sad last year that the British Crown Green website was down for so long, wasn't it, Ron?
That's right.
You know, and you know, for the governing body to be not accessible to the members for such a long period was difficult. I mean, I don't know if Paul wants to come in on this now, but Paul has now took over as the British Crown Green website Supremo, and I mean, how do you see that developing, Paul?
I think it can only get better. We've seen various websites around that individuals run. Obviously, I run one myself. 21 Up's fantastic, but there was never enough information coming from the BCGBA. It was pretty much guesswork of what we were doing. And I always felt that the BCGBA needed to lead the way in websites and getting the information out to the people rather than the dribs and drabs that were coming out bit by bit. And finally, it looks like, you know, they've taken the ball by the horns. I've offered my services and working along with Pat Crowther, who's been very keen on the project. We've worked together well so far, and I'm sure they've got better ideas coming up in the future as well.
Mandy has put on here about, you know, where's the ladies' info. I think the ladies do have difficulty getting information out. I mean, will the ladies be involved in the website?
Well, they are a different organisation altogether, so obviously it will be dealt with totally separately. There is talk of it coming into place, possibly under its own name, possibly within the BCGBA website. I'm not sure how it will work. There is work afoot, but I don't know what the situation is with that at the moment, but it's coming in the future.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's good to see it is back on there. I mean, previously, as we just said, it was reliant on people like Paul and Jimmy Park and Jeff Russell and gathering the information together. Hopefully now we'll get the results and everything straight away on the night and updated. I think Lynn's just picked up on it.
Yeah, just picking up on something here, just to thank Mike Holden for clarifying that, and thank you for your kind comments. He actually states Lynn, Mel and Paul are doing a great job, keep it up. So obviously Mike has just perhaps corrected something that I was reading incorrectly. There's been lots of messages coming up on the screen, so just the thanks for that correction.
Yeah, Jimmy Parker has also put on these radio and live streaming innovation. There's something we are in front of the flat green at present, which is something good, isn't it? You know.
Well, that's right.
You know, it's good to see the British Crown Green or individuals within the British Crown Green, shall we say, sort of leading the way in this sort of.
This is my first experience of this particular type of programme, and I think it's absolutely first class. It's been a hard 2 hours, really. But you've got to think, not on your feet, but sat down quickly, and sometimes we didn't think quickly enough. But I think if we can keep this thing, sort of these forums or these talk shows going, it can only be for the good of the game and to get more people listening to them, really. Obviously, I had a decent audience here tonight. I don't know whether you can record how many people you've had listening, but
yeah,
I think
at one point, Ron, we've had, I think, in excess of 80 actually listeners who are registered, but that doesn't always include people who listen but don't register. So it'd be interesting Paul, our statsman, can do that for us at some point, can't you, Paul?
Yeah, I'll juggle the figures to make it look good.
The only thing you can, to advertise the presence of these schemes, really. I personally wouldn't know where to look for a start, but I hope after tonight I will know where to look. And a lot more people, I would hope that we could publicise the fact, and we'll get more people listening, and it won't be 2 hours, it'll be 3 and 4 hours, I would think, which is going to be a hard draft for you, really.
Yeah.
We keep going, we can talk.
And I think we have touched on some subjects tonight that you could dedicate a show alone to. Funding for the BCGBA, a subcommittee of players and organisers, something that I particularly would be interested in, I have to say, and perhaps a subcommittee comprised of the likes of Mel, who have organised top class tournaments, and some of the top players, both male and female, would really take the game forward and would only be good, but 2 hours is not long enough to talk about such important issues that we need to take our game forward. So
covered a lot of ground in many respects.
Yes.
We have a couple of them. Chris Morrison has just put a message on for you, Ron. He says, sorry to give you a hard time, all the best to you and Maureen.
Thank you very much. Yeah. I knew Chris when he had an out.
Anyway, I think we've run out a little bit, but we've got to wind him down now. I must thank Ron, the President, and Steve for joining us, and for being so open and honest with your thoughts on the game. It's been a pleasure speaking to you, and I can only wish you, particularly Ron, success in your year in office.
Thanks, Paul.
And doing your best. I hope we haven't put you too much on the spot tonight, but you have done well, and it's nice to see someone who's prepared to come on here representing the British Crown Green and be so sort of honest and frank. And for Steve as well for coming here. Somebody said we need an interpreter for you, Steve. I don't know.
I think it's actually probably for me and the interpreter are required, to be honest.
So personally, I think it's been a good programme. We've done the best, as Lynn says. We tried to entertain and do the best as we can, and I hope everybody's enjoyed it. We must thank our guests, Andy Cairns, Chris McDonald, Nick, who's standing here, Mel Iam, for joining us. I hope you've all enjoyed it. Next Sunday, Jamie and Don will be back on air as usual from 8 till 10. So from everybody here, it's good night to me. Lynn, you want to say good night? Yeah,
just to thank the listeners for tuning in again. It has been a good show. They always are. I continue to thoroughly enjoy them. Hard work with the volume of messages coming in. Not surprisingly, having the president of the BCGBA here. That was the case, and a lot of people wanting to ask questions and know things, and perhaps it's something that we could revisit halfway through the season. Who knows? And have another thing like this, which will be good. So, but for now, good night everybody, and see you all soon.
And Paul, you want to say a word? How's it gone for you?
It's worked this week.
It's worked.
It didn't work and the last show of last season it didn't work. So the first show of this season's worked. So we're off with a good start.
He's been up all night trying to get all this right. So that was it. So anyway, folks, that's it for tonight. Until next time, from everybody at Talkingbowls and me, Mel Evans. Just remember, it's only a game, so enjoy it and good night.
Good night. Good night. Good night.